This video demonstrates self-manual lymph drainage for left lower extremity decongestion. So what we do in this case is we direct the flow of lymph out of the left lower extremity towards the left axilla. And based on what you discussed with your therapist, you may go across towards the lymph nodes in the right lower extremity, but that's case dependent. How we start out is with some deep breathing. Deep breathing, actually, whenever you do it, helps. The idea is it will close and open the thoracic duct, which is a lymphatic vessel that it goes through the abdomen up the body. So for deep breathing, you can do it in sitting, but I recommend doing it laying down with your knees bent so that your abdominal muscles are relaxed. You put your hands on your belly and you think about breathing in deep, making your belly rise up, making your hands rise up as you fill your belly with air, and then you breathe out. Breathe in. And I recommend repeating that 10 times. You can continue doing the massage when you're laying down, but doing it whatever position feels most comfortable for you is fine. So once we do the deep breathing, we're going to work on opening the trunk up towards the left axilla. And you do that by, first you're going to place your hand in your left armpit, and you're just going to stretch the skin, keeping the skin relaxed, not tight like this, just relaxed. And stretch it and release. Stretch it and release. And you repeat that 5 to 10 times. Or you can also use a towel. Tuck that towel under your armpit, and you can squeeze your armpit 5 to 10 times. Okay. And then we work on creating an open pathway up the side of the trunk, and you're going from like the hip bone towards the armpit. And so you're going to place your hand, one hand width below your armpit, and you're just going to stretch the skin up towards the armpit. Through this whole process, you keep a soft hand, you don't dig your fingertips into your body, and you just use mostly your fingers, and you're going to stretch the skin and release, stretch and release. 5 to 10 times there. Move your hands down one hand width, and then you're going to stretch the skin again on the side of the trunk and release, stretch, release. Move down again, so you'll get 3 or 4 hand placements. So you're at your hip bone, and there you're gonna still stretch up towards the armpit area. Stretch the skin and release. You need the skin to rebound in between each stretch. Okay, now, if you have not had any involvement on the right side or any abdominal procedures or anything that might affect this part, you can do the working the tissue towards the right inguinal lymph nodes. So how to open those lymph nodes is you can either place your hands in the groin and stretch the skin, release, stretch the skin, release. Whenever you do manual lymphatic drainage, it should be performed on bare and dry skin. Otherwise, you're just going to be moving your clothes around, and that's not effective. You need the tackiness of your skin to skin contact. Okay, so then we work on across the pelvis here, and you can stretch the skin above the right hip and over. 5 to 10 times. Move to the center, stretch it. And then over the left hip, stretch it that way. Okay, now you're ready to move to the leg. And as you do the leg, you can get into whatever position feels best for you. If you can stretch your leg out in front of you, great. If you want to lay on your back and kick your leg up in the air, that works too. If you feel like you can't get into a position like that, just sit and work your upper leg this way, and maybe put your foot on a stool in front of you so that you can reach the lower leg and the foot. The path that we want to follow is to not direct lymph into the groin. We want to work it out around the hip and over the hip this way. Okay, so you can first get on the outside of the hip. I think I'm going to prop my leg up this way to show you. Work the tissue on the outside of the leg up over the hip. Again, soft hands, you're not pressing too hard, you're stretching the skin and letting it rebound 5 to 10 times in each position. Then move your hands down. You can see my skin stretching and rebounding. You're just kind of trying to mimic the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system works as a pump, so we're just pumping the tissue. So you get 3 or 4 hand widths here above the knee, depending on how long your leg is. My thigh is not very long, so it only takes about 3. So after doing the outside of the leg, outside of the thigh, we're going to work the inside of the thigh tissue. And so we'll just pull that around and up. Scoop it around and up. And move down a hand width. And now we've reached the knee. So at the knee then, you're just going to continue to stretch the tissue upwards. Not a lot of pressure, just taking up the slack of the skin and stretching it. You can work the back of the knee tissue here, stretching it up. Keep that same pattern going down your leg. Keeping your muscles relaxed. Work the front of the leg as well. Pump, release. So fluid likes to collect around the ankles, and I often have people just come in here and this is where you can use your fingertips to just kind of push in there and lift up. Just try to move that stubborn swelling out from around your ankle bones. Then you get to the top of the foot, same thing, you're just going to stroke upwards. You can do a quick, rework back up the leg when you're finished. And then I recommend reworking the trunk, doing just a couple of more stretches in the armpit, working the tissue of the trunk. And then if you've been directed to, you can also work the groin again on the right side. And then working the tissue across the pelvis. And then it's a good idea to finish with deep breathing again. So that's the basic sequence for manual lymphatic drainage for left lower extremity involvement. Thank you.